Hey. Hey there, SpeedGaming. Following that Super Metroid race, I'm bringing you Brandish. So, nowadays I play mainly Super Metroid, but it started off on Brandish. Game's dear to me. And let's go. So immediately, you're going to notice the camera, as soon as I turn, is a couple seconds away. Important to choose color. Okay, so there's a turn. The whole world instantly flips. And that's something you just have to get used to. Once you do get used to it, you build up a tolerance to it. And hardly notice it. This here is Secret Area. It has a sound test room, and more importantly, it has this warp magic. Just really nice quality of life item. So, warp magic, costs a mana bar, lets me go anywhere I've already been. That was a bit of a graphical glitch. Like when the map is updating and you move, sometimes it doesn't follow properly. You mostly see it on hammering walls. Because that's like changing tiles. And that's our first floor. Happily collected our master keys, hammers, and warp magic. And yeah, good use of those throughout the whole run. You know, adventuring basics. Yeah, that's a pitfall puzzle. This game, action RPG puzzle. So I'm gonna have to do a bunch of puzzles here and there. That was a good example of graphical glitch. I haven't actually been hitting it all that frequently. So, big developments in this game. Every SNES Super Stars marathon, I derust it. Do a little bit of science on how to improve the route. And usually find things. Because community is pretty small. So what I picked up there was invisibility potions. And this used to be in the route, but then were cut because it was just a safety at the time. But now it's back in as a way to speed up the first boss. Use warp to skip this boulder. I'm gonna clip through a boulder later. I tried to clip through that one, like in practice testing, but it's not consistent. You can clip through on alternating frames, and you know, set of buffered inputs that work. Here's Alexis, rival character. Unfortunate things happen to her at every meeting. And that'll be our interactions with Alexis. When the screen goes black, it means I'm resting. And I'm going to do that to regain health and mana. There's the boulder clip. That one is all buffered inputs, so that one's safe to do. There's just two other places where boulder clip would be faster, but not reliable. Jumping's faster than walking. So if you can get 2 jumps in a row, then it's worth turning. Because turning also costs time. Good. I'm working on this room. Oops. Bump something while jumping. So this is going to be the only instance of these physical terrain pusher things. Yeah, and it's because of them that this map has to... It has to, like, deload sprites and load sprites twice, even. So there's 3 segments of the map. And that's something that you can abuse in Japanese version of the game. Like, if you make the game busy when it's trying to load, then it'll just not load the sprites. That makes this last part easier. But we're playing English. 6-frame clips. Always scary, because if I get hit, I die. And dying sends me to the start of the floor. How the autosave system works. And then there's also gimmick floors, floor gimmicks. On this one, you can't rest because time stands still on this floor. The lore. So resting doesn't progress time. That means to heal, you take either these healing fountain, is that water there, or health potions. And rest. And I do like using rest to periodically gain my health. Yeah, let's just warp again, being really convenient. Go back to the start of the floor. Okay, so on top of camera, this floor has warp tiles. So if you were keeping up, then map still doesn't make sense because I'm warping between rooms at specific points on this floor. And you're gonna see it in a second when I warp back. It's all disconnected. That's just the game being mean. And this game, casually, is actually very mean. But not really until later on. I'll get to Dark Zone. Okay. I didn't want the slime to walk in front of the door, because I can't kill green slimes. It's an RPG. I haven't been killing anything. So I have no levels. Now we're about to change that. Okay, so if he hits me, I die. But I have a shield. Experience system is on use. So every punch gives me experience. So you can manipulate enemies. One of the key things to know is that when they're doing something, they can't also be attacking. That's how you get around enemies. Like, if you walk up behind them, then they have to turn around before they can attack. And if they're turning around, you can jump over them. There's also two kinds of enemies. Like, the frogs here are gonna chase me down. Murder frogs. But the dwarf is just gonna wander randomly, unless I'm next to him. He hits me, I still die. So, be stressful. Yeah, so that was a little dangerous. The frog's always going to jump back when he attacks, but he was trapped by the fire guy. So that means he was going to attack again immediately. And 2 frog hits would kill me. Alright, that's 9. A little friendly after 9. Picked up an extra invisibility for marathon safety. Of course, that ruins my inventory management. Okay, so we're coming up on first boss. And the formula is get to the floor that has the boss, and then raise my strength so I hit the boss for max damage. And like, enemies give better experience the deeper you go. That's why you want to do the slow grind on the better enemies. And then here's the best sword leading up to the boss. You can see it has durability. That's something I'll have to manage. And there used to be a money route. That's more or less gone away with the changes I've made this year. I'm gonna save. Okay, so this is gonna be the fight. It's very 50-50, win or lose. I didn't quite get enough damage in, so I gotta do the fight slow. And I really don't want to use this last invisibility, so... Eventually killed him. I didn't kill him fast enough. That counts as a loss. Like, in the speedrun sense. That's not what I meant to do. So I'll talk about this boss. Jump right into the next boss. Turning down game speed because my attack rate is not tied to game speed. Like, not directly tied. Related. Yeah, this boss went pretty good. So I can attack relatively faster if I turn down game speed. Doing that fight at full speed is really, really hard. Too hard for me. I turn it down to make it possible. The old way to do the wizard was you'd use an ice ring, and that would desynchronize the boss from his clones. And then you'd always know which one he was. One was the main one. Trying to forget muscle memory for money route. So the wizard was a big RNG point. Where you'd have to freeze him. You do have to hit the freeze shot. And then wait for a favorable pattern to hit him. But with invisibility, you can't be hurt. So you have 2-3 cycles to kill him. And that's just a lot faster. But it's still really easy to like not find the real one and waste all your time. That's bad. And that's the runes. I used the revival ring. Gives you one at the start. That's just an extra life. I'm gonna get a couple more. But I really just have one that's spare. There was another one by the frogs. I don't normally get that one. Like, if I'd known I'd die, then I would have. Don't normally get that one. Tower to tower. I'm just gonna kill whatever's in my way as far as my saber goes. Pits. These spots on the ground are pits, and they're going to be a constant problem going forward. Because I can raise my defense some, but pits are going to ignore that. Peek over the wall before warping. Key. So my health, like I've read out all my levels, really. There's certain points where I need certain amounts of level. Health as a stat only matters for... I had to count that. Only matters for a boss fight later, and an arrow trap a little after that. Because the health stat is also tied to a hidden damage RNG stat called luck. So by raising level, I raise damage, but not in a reliable way. More of a way to overcome defense. That's something I'll only worry about once we're through cave. Yeah, not sure entirely how my inventory is laid out. I'm trying to keep the key items out of my dimensional box. Just for faster menuing. Ranged unit. They're always going to attack if they can at range. Here's some Hardening Potion. I used one on my saber earlier. It increases weapon uses. I don't know. The Protection Amulet, I think it's called. That's for luck. So I want to not worry about using it until I have a high luck set. That's a thief enemy. He steals items out of your inventory and then runs away. And I only pick up items I want or need. So I'd have to kill him. This is the only real skip that warp does. If I can get vision of that little piece of land and then warp back to it. That skips having to do the level, which is just running back 3 or 4 times. Running back and forth over that central pit area. That's the only real content you're missing by having warp. Otherwise, it's just backtracking that's saved. These knights are a bit of a pain. Usually they're favorable. These archers are never friendly. I don't know if 2 uses can kill him. It's not... I don't need to kill him. I'd be killing him so he doesn't shoot at me. How it works. I dodged the sorceress and the knight. And here's Gaddy. Like, our one friend, Gaddy the warrior. He has a key, leads to a puzzle. And I'm gonna do the puzzle. Of course, there's a hint plaque. Gives you a riddle. What is it? It's like southeast. Solution. I'm writing an S and an E on the tiles. Talking to him again gives me armor. And I think the route doesn't need the armor anymore. I'd get it now anyway for safety, but it was mostly for Dark Zone bats was the reason I couldn't skip it. But the route now, use one. The route now doesn't it gets a different armor on the way. That I do this after all. Stack some things while I'm here. So here we're gonna do a cutscene skip. Same idea. Just not fall down that hole. Well, as part of the cutscene, a hole is created that you fall down. And we're coming up on our third boss. Maybe I'll get these. Some technique involved in dodging enemies. And I'm just throwing in saves at problem areas. I hardly ever die. I mean, I don't die to this fight. But it could happen. Here we have the double rock Sasha. I just want to get about 5 levels. I think it's a little more efficient if I use a Hardening Potion on my sword and then just hit him more with the sword. That seems fine. Oh, I didn't know that. If I inspect a different enemy, it doesn't display the numbers for the one I'm hitting. So fighting most enemies, I don't want to fight them head on. Especially these guys who hit too hard for me to block. Like half the enemies are gonna hit me back if I try to fight them like that. Half are gonna block my attack. But you can see a lot of side hits. At least until I get my invisibility potions. I was working on a different way of doing that fight too. Where I think with just that armor, you can block the one that has higher defense. And so you can just attack and block like I was doing with the dwarves. But they got a really funky attack pattern. Attack timing. I haven't felt comfortable doing that. Over to cave. Most dangerous part of cave is going to be 10 and 8. That's because of bats. So bats, they can go through my hitbox. And if I move with them and we move together, then they just chain hit me multiple times. There's no surviving that. They're also crazy fast. Gotta break out a little bit of the skill. These dodges. Okay, so I'm gonna do a side quest here. Side hits on these enemies just do more damage. It does have directional damage. I think my weapon break was kind of slow. Didn't really cost that much to use the backup. Coming. Bats are scary. I should die in 3 hits to a bat. Not instant game over. This room rotates the camera randomly. And then also there's that random skeleton who wanders. So you can lose track of him, and then he'll suddenly be behind me. Those aren't the ones I get, but I can hold on to them, I guess. Can't jump on top of enemies, as you'd expect. If you do that, then you're clipping. And clipping is something that you can try to do. You time your jump just right, so it goes where an enemy... Those are bad skeletons. Like if an enemy is walking towards a tile, and you jump onto the same tile, then you can both land on it at the same time. Kill you for experience. Oh. The sword doesn't have durability. Part of the reason I picked it up. But it's not a strong sword. And then I'm gonna get this for comfort. Dodge the little tornado guy. That's a shield. I'm still on starter shield. But with a shield, I can block the chimeras coming up. But we're past 8, no death. This. Used to go in there for money. This boulder, when it rolls back, it breaks down the wall. And there's some items you can sell in there. Rid of the old money route. And all that money went to invisibility potions. That's the side quest. Side quest is worth pretty strong armor. Yeah, let's see if I can hit this. Bro. Eat the boulder. Zap. No zap. Those are the health potions I get. Dodge the Medusa. There's a skeleton that likes to hide out in that room, but I haven't seen him lately. Now we're into setting up for the boss. That's just an enemy that's decent experience, doesn't fight back. This floor has a shop, and the new route I'm trying out doesn't visit that shop. So normally you'd buy invisibility potions there. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to not get hit. That's the name of the game. Don't get hit. Plexus. It's Alexis's rock. Out of here. Oh, that poor knight. All we need for hammers. I got good armor on, so bats aren't a problem anymore. But they can drop me into those pits. And those pits drop me down floors. And that's something I had to watch for the boss coming up. As well as a bit of don't get hit. This is why I got the shield. You can fight them from the side. Ow. I didn't get hit. Wow. Fireball does a good 60 damage. I don't know what level I am. I'm not that high a level. That's why I visit the bats. They're gonna help me level up. This guy is always a problem without the shield. And for these ones, I'm gonna put on my... Ooh. Those are just bad time. I'd really like to kill them, but... I don't have to kill them. It's just in the route. The route notes say kill them. Not killing them extends the ninja fight here, and it is hectic. So enjoy. Mind these. Okay, so old route was slow down game speed and invisible. This route is full speed. Just play good. Good old-fashioned play good. And falling off the edge is the worst thing that I can do. So I get the fire armor so I can survive his attacks from the side. Otherwise it's a one-hit kill. Just from his ninja stare. Oh. His sword still kills me. So I could have died right there. Not normally this bad, running away. Yeah. Not that good of a fight. And yeah, I don't have to menu. Still, it's like about the same as a slow old fight. Wait for the squid to go off screen. Squid shoot fireballs. Now we're to Dark Zone. This is the really mean part of the game. Leave 2 invisibility. I don't buy invisibility, so I really don't want to have to use them. I don't really need them. That floor used to be impossible without invisibility. And then I started running glitch categories. It was not. This is all pits. And you just gotta memorize the pattern. All pits. And they're the bag kind of pits. They send me to the lower floor and then I gotta redo that floor and redo this floor. Okay. So you got a little view of the pits off of that floor. Without the fire armor, the bats are really dangerous here. With it, they're not a problem. And I got to skip that shop, which saves a lot of picking up items, selling items, buying, stacking potions. I haven't measured it, but it seems like a good time save. Now we're back onto normal route. I picked up like 3 things that are worth a lot of money, and I'm just gonna buy 100 invisibility potions. That'll get me through the rest of the game. First, let's put on the better sword. Here's as good a time as any to mention text boxes. So text boxes, I need to put in a left or right input so that they complete instantly, instead of taking forever to write out the words. Okay. Takes a second. And when it's doing that, when it's writing out words, I can't do any other input at all. So that's one of the things that makes this game miserable to play at first. But just get used to it, and comes another part of the game. Okay, so here's invisibility potion. I'm just gonna stand next to him and he can't see me. You saw earlier that fireballs went through me. It's just another perk of invisibility potion. Gonna use those. The store uses keys that I'm bringing from the ruins back at the start of the game. The next closest keys are not close at all. So you're just expected to bring your keys from somewhere. And here we have puzzle where... All the switches around the room shuffle the middle pillars randomly. I guess it's a set pattern, but there's 100 of them. 100 patterns. So, randomly. And you gotta find the pillar that doesn't move. But of course, I know which one that is. Keeping my sword topped off, I'm gonna use it a lot. So, I already know that I'm gonna use these hardening potions on the sword. Just free up space. Always invis before warping into enemies. We're getting to the part where I talked about levels contributing to damage. So these enemies specifically are just good damage, or good experience. And the boss coming up has really high armor. And I need my level stat to overcome their armor. Through the power of luck. And then this floor is mean in that it has eye monsters that go through walls and erase your map. And we just saw one. I don't need that. So that floor didn't play out too well for the experience farm I wanted. I was pretty slow on killing all of the Reapers. And so I kind of missed some. There's a glitch. And stand on pits after you die. Need these 4 chests, so clear out the 4 enemies. Yeah, coming up on the lobsters. They're on the next floor. Really random enemy. I hate them. Pretty good boss music. That's another fight where you want good damage to end the fight faster. Like routing experience. You're routing your grinds on regular enemies because the boss has a mechanic that you want to deal with for less. But we're also just deep enough into the game that regular enemies are worth a lot of experience. I have more invisibility than I'll ever need, so not worrying about it. I do need more hardening on my sword, though. This sword breaks, it's bad. But there's a shop right here, right through the left wall. Didn't jump through a wall. And you can do an infinite money trick on it. Like you buy a Hardening Potion, put it on a sword and sell it back to him. And you gain more money than it costs. Okay. So final armor, final sword. and my ring here to glitch this. Lets me stand on a pit, and then I can just open the door. And that saves a whole lot of walking. Here's the lobster boss. Don't need to save, but I do occasionally die to this one. If we're doing 20s, I'm happy. If we're doing 1s, I'm gonna go back to my luck pouch. Those good damage rolls, but he got away from me. That's the lobsters. The lobster dance. Now we're kind of into the final stretch. Floor 5, 6, and 7. Yeah. These are all connected. So I'm gonna go up and downstairs a whole lot. Collect keys. Then we're just into final boss's territory. Yep. Brandish. Really solid game, I find. It's one of those games you gotta get past the obvious bad points. Like the camera takes getting used to. And the text boxes. Those are the big ones. On Japanese version, the text boxes are your friend. So I suspect there were a problem here because they were fixing that. You can make a lot of glitches happen with text boxes on Japanese release. But once I started doing that, made up whole glitch categories for the game. And a task. The task is like 11 minutes. It's like you get warp magic and then prep the map and warp to the end of every floor. As for non-glitches, it used to be that English and Japanese were nearly identical time-wise, where Japanese gains time on text cutscenes, but English gains time in combat by faster animations. But now I'm not sure because that's changed. But it does seem like I might be able to beat my record if I were to grind it. It's time saves. A high 56. I want to jump next to him next to the door. For top times, you have to grind good luck RNG in your runs. and not be rusty. So it helps to have found consistency strats for the first two bosses. These fireballs you can't invis past. They like count as environment damage, probably. Like only those fireballs and the final boss, red fireball, can't just ignore. I need mana pot first. Here's the fireball jump. Used to be a literal jump of the fireball. That's a buffered warp. Here we got the secret warp double magic. Try and drop my mana potions and it put a wall in front of me, and I was flustered. Okay, so top floor. And top floor brings in the ice physics. Launch. I gotta find the blue guy. Kind of another piece of RNG that a good run would want. And he's in the worst spot. These other guys respawn. We gotta fish them out. It's really scary to go in there. Bad level up. Got him eventually. That was really bad. So here's why I picked up the gold shield. And this is the other use of levels, but it's not really a thing anymore. Mostly because I killed those bats in Cave 1. Going for good ending. Save Alexis. Yeah. I'll show off this. So here's the thing I did a whole lot of in Brandish 2. A little slower. Because it doesn't have a load button. So LR select and then A gives me the anti-stuck. Warp is normally disabled on this floor because it's top floor. But if you use the anti-stuck, then you're okay. Double magic is what I'm using here. Straight doubles your damage. Which is scales brokenly because double is a lot. That's why. Like if you have a similar attack and defense, and then you double the attack, it's like you're doing full damage. There's another kill floor. You get that key. So far this has been a really solid run. Because no game overs. That's kind of the measure. Like I should get just under an hour with no game overs. Even with one game over. Let's talk about final boss. Okay, so turn down game speed so I get 2 attacks per cycle. I forgot to take out my rings. There's nothing I can do about getting fireballed when I enter the room. Invisibility protects me from the blue things, the lasers and the blue fireballs. Green things are teleporters. And the things going back and forth are reflectors. They're gonna bounce the red fireball. Plus the front 2 rows have spikes in them. Yeah, so you see them bouncing there. They normally bounce off the bouncers and then bounce off the main body. Just can't hit him when the teleport is in front of him. Unless I kind of should be following him over. I can hit him on the way back. But 40 hits. I'm just gonna take this work. Ooh. Back. Time that right, I could one of them. The worst part about dying is you get to 2, sometimes 3 text boxes before you can move. It's time. So if you didn't like the camera, want to try the game, you can look at Brandish Dark Revenant for PSP. The same game, some extra content, but with a camera that actually rotates. But it has less broken mechanics. Play this version for the broken mechanics. Yep, SNES Super Stars, always fun to take part in. It usually takes me back to Brandish, and then I find something new in the route, need to work on it. Good times. And with that, I guess I'm done.